Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. One thing that I noticed in how the Western media and the politician portray an issue is by focusing on whatever advantage that little issue would give them and ignore other more important aspects of the issue. And that is, like for instance, you go and have a shower, and after you get out, you use soap, shampoo, whatever you use. You come out and someone tells you, the politician or the media, hey, you're still dirty. And I say, how in the hell I'm still dirty? I'm clean. No, you're still dirty because maybe under your nails you couldn't clear all that dirt. Therefore, you see you're dirty. Well, if you look overall, I'm 99% certain and not 99% clean, and maybe 1%, some areas where you didn't wash perfectly, okay? But they focus on that one, and they call you dirty because you didn't, maybe you were not able to clean underneath your nails. So when the Americans, for instance, come and tell you, hey, you know what, we told Putin this, we did that, they focus on things that are really minuscule compared to the whole issue. But they don't want to talk about the whole issue. They talk about, oh, he told him that. Yeah, he told him. Yeah, okay, he told him. But then what are going to be the consequences of he told him? Are greater and have a bigger impact than he told him. So they like to, based on little things, yes, he's like this, yes, Putin fell or Putin did. Okay, and then what are the consequences? Tens of thousands of people die in a war. Yeah, but you told Putin. Yeah, that's very, very, very good. So what I'm trying to say is that they are happy and celebrating little bullshit. They do not look at the big problem. Like here, oh, we're still the greatest country in the world. We're the greatest. Yeah, and our economy is, and look what's going on, not only politically, economically as well, and socially. But we're still great. No, if you look at the situation, this country, this boat is slowly sinking. The problem is it's very big and it takes some time to do it. But the direction is going down. But they point out at Jay-Z, at Biden's doing this, at Kamala Harris, snubbing Ron DeSantis. Unimportant things. Unimportant. The problem is we're all thinking. But we're celebrating that, Beyonce did a pole dance or something. Ooh, or what the other one, Stallion, D-Stallion. Jesus Christ, I can't even, it makes me vomit. So anyway, what's going on here? I remember when everybody was like, hey guys, Putin, the bad guy, Putin stopped the Black Sea grain accords or agreements, he pulled out, he's the bad dude. They didn't tell you, probably, these guys, why that happened. I told you because I read the Russians. And they say, well, this is what happens. Now I believe them. The fact that the Western media do not deny, and they say, oh, wait a second, bring your arguments here. Let's, debunk them. They didn't debunk the Russians' arguments, and they keep quiet, and they focus only what they say the Ukrainians are saying. That tells me they don't want to pick on the second part of the grain agreements. So they say, well, we do this, those are bad, we're going to save the world. But what did we get in this situation? Oh, Putin bad, that's all. Putin bad, Russia bad. Well, it's not like that. It's not like that. This war could have been avoided. But it was pushed by certain interests. Again, we're looking at Beyonce instead of looking at who instigated, who overthrew a government, who recognized it, who invested, who trained, who armed, who lied, Minsk I, Minsk II agreements, and so on. So now we have Erdogan, who he knows that those, I think it's 30% of Ukrainian grain goes to Turkey, it's cut off. So he knows that his country, and he will be a little bit up. So what is he doing? He tries to bring people together. Hey, Russia, please come back to the negotiating table. The Russians know. We say, okay, no, from our angle, the Ukrainians' part was fulfilled. Our part of the agreement was not fulfilled for a year. And we're not going to do it again. We're not going to continue. I'm not going to continue paying for a car that was not delivered to me for a year. Sorry. And everybody says, well, you bad. You should continue paying, your monthly dues for the car, your payments for the loan, but the car was not delivered. So you don't use the car, but you pay for 1 year and say, well, you're bad. No, I don't want to pay for something I don't receive. It's a contract. You give me this, I give you that. Well, I was giving you, but you didn't give me shit. And say, well, you bad. So now Erdogan tries to, after I think he did some political, how should I put it? I don't want to put it like mistakes, or not mistakes. What Erdogan did with those Azov battalion commanders, he gave them to Ukraine against the agreement that was the initial agreement between Ukraine, Russia and Turkey. That was a mistake. The other one, no mistake. From the Russian side, it was a stab in the back, recognizing Sweden and agreeing that Sweden will join NATO by Erdogan, not by the Turkish parliament. They need to ratify that one. Again, from the Russian perspective, was a stab in the back. And how that happened? The Swedes did not do anything, and they did something, but Erdogan said, you didn't do it until today, you didn't do it. And the next day, he talks with Biden over the phone, and the next day he said, yeah, we're okay with Sweden. No, he didn't. The Sweden in those 2 days did not change anything. And you said no, spoke with Biden, and then the third day, yes. What changed? Something in here. Turkey was promised that will be given something. And that not did well with the Russians. Russians already angry that they were making payments, but the car was not delivered. And now Erdogan, what is he going to do? He spoke over the phone with Putin. And Putin said, you know what? No, we're not going to do it. We don't want to be like you are right now. No. And Erdogan now says, you know what? Actually, it's the West's responsibility to resume the Black Sea grain, deliveries. So he points the finger at the West now, unsurprisingly. Why? Because he knows that without Russia, the grain will not come to Turkey. Or he's going to have a hard time. So we have this little article from Ukrainska Pravda. It's from today, August 9th, 2023. Erdogan places responsibility on West for resuming grain agreement. Turkey President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said Ankara is negotiating with the parties to resume the Black Sea grain agreement. The Turkey leader noted that, and I'm quoting, the solution to this problem depends on the fulfillment of their promises by Western countries. Promises to whom? Hey, Ukrainska Pravda, promises to whom? It's okay, I tell you, to Russia. Without specifying what kind of promises they are discussing. I just mentioned you, Ukrainska Pravda. And I'm quoting, Putin, like us, is sensitive to the issue of access of our African brothers to grain. I think we can find a common language on this issue. Blah, 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 blah. Erdogan added, pointing to a recent conversation with the Russian president. Okay, that's what it is. And it says here, earlier reports say that the expected visit of Russian President Vladimir Putin to Turkey may take place at the end of August. I don't think Putin will come to Turkey, but hey, I give him 40% he's going to go there. And here is what you need to know, according to Ukrainska Pravda. On 17th of July, Russia announced the suspension of the grain agreement and threatened risks to the parties who decided to continue the initiative without the participation of the Russian Federation. If you read this, you say, what the fuck happened here? Evil Russians. But I told you what happened. Russia was not given access to SWIFT, their banks, the ones that deal with grain, their pesticide, fertilizers, and grain was still blocked in European ports, and other issues related to the grain agreements. And I said, no, we're not going to do it. So obviously Russia is bad. Well, I don't think they give up. I don't think so. And at one point, Russia has to, how should I put it, straight. Should say, you know what, we have no illusions regarding these guys. No more expectations, no more illusions. These are not our partners. I'm talking about the United States and the Western countries, how they call them, unfriendly countries. And that's it. They have to treat them as such, not after 1 year. I would have been done in the first 2 weeks. If in 2 weeks, these guys would not fulfill their part of the deal, because then bye-bye, close it. Not wait a year. I personally would have done that. But hey, they know much, much more than I do, so I don't know exactly what was the under the table or behind the scenes talks and how things are intertwined over there. But looking from outside, whatever these guys allow us to see, what do you mean? Deliver me the car. I give you 2 hours. No delivery, no money. Sounds, I think, fair enough. So Erdogan right now points the finger to the Western countries, to the European countries actually, with the shipments, the insurance companies for the tankers, the Russian ships that are strained in the European ports, the SWIFT access for the banks that receive and send money, receive money for the grain that the Russians are selling and so on. Well, on the other end, that is a little bit of a loosening up of the sanctions. The Europeans said no. Europe gets, 38% of the Ukrainian grain, according to some United Nations data that I made a video on about a week and a half ago. 38%. So obviously the European Union should be in high gear to change things. Otherwise, you're gonna have 10%, 20%. You're gonna pay more for your, bread and other stuff if you have them. And whose fault it is? The Russians' fault. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.